This week, Israel has been embroiled in a protracted and violent conflict with Hamas, a well-known Palestinian group. The Israel Defense Forces carried out a severe attack in a densely populated area of Gaza. The main objective was to eliminate the Palestinian militant group, but this has generated strong international condemnation. The repeated bombings in Jabalia, a neighborhood that was formerly a refugee camp and now houses permanent housing, constituted the most intense attacks in Israel's history. The latest actions in the conflict between Israel and Hamas reflect an increase in Israel's campaign to neutralize Hamas. This has sparked a series of criticisms due to the worsening humanitarian crisis in the region. Several countries have urged Israel to stop the fire and lift the imposed blockade. Even the United States, despite its support for Israel's right to defend itself, has felt the pressure due to the harshness of the campaign. According to Israel, they carried out attacks against more than 11,000 targets using missiles, bombs, and artillery in Gaza, a territory that is home to almost 2 million people and is approximately half the size of New York City. Human rights organizations have warned about the escalation of the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, reporting a large number of deaths and massive displacements, leaving much of the region in ruins. Israel claims that these attacks have destroyed important military infrastructure and eliminated key leaders of Hamas, which the United States has designated a terrorist organization. Additionally, Israeli forces have reportedly made significant progress on the battlefield. The Israeli armed forces have announced that their ground troops have neutralized several Hamas members, including senior members of the group's elite NCBA. These operations were carried out using intelligence information provided to the Shin Bet security service. They identified and eliminated NCBA company commander Ahmed Musa and NCBA platoon commander Amr al-Hi, who were hiding in Jabalia. According to the Israel Defense Forces statement, Musa, identified as one of the Hamas leaders, led an attack in October on the Sikkim base, a nearby kibbutz, and another military outpost in the region. In recent days, Musa led offensive activities against Israeli forces in the western area of Jabalia. Additionally, troops also reportedly killed Mohammed Klut, leader of the shooters unit in Hamas's North Gaza Brigade, a group considered a terrorist organization by the Israel Defense Forces. The loss of these leaders has had a significant impact on Hamas militants, considerably weakening their attacks. In another incident, the Israel Defense Forces reported that soldiers from Division 252 eliminated 19 Hamas operatives who were allegedly planning attacks against soldiers, according to Palestinian media reports. In Hebron, Israeli military authorities demolished the home of two brothers accused of the murder of Batzabe Nigri in an armed attack in August. Nigri, a 42-year-old mother of three, was shot dead in front of her daughter in a vehicle attack near Hebron. Additionally, another person was seriously injured in the shooting. A day later, Israeli security forces arrested Zakir and Mohammed as Shanter, suspects in the attack. Israel has a policy of periodically demolishing homes of Palestinians accused of organizing deadly terrorist attacks. The effectiveness of this strategy has generated intense debates, even within the Israeli government. While security authorities support it, human rights defenders criticize it as unfair collective punishment. At the same time, Israel announced the dispatch of significant ground forces to the Gaza region. According to Michael Horowitz, intelligence leader at Israel-based consultancy Lebec, troops appear to be digging along Gaza's northern coast, in a position vulnerable to possible attacks from the Israeli Navy. Israeli forces made brief raids into central Gaza to confront Hamas, and then retreated to safer areas. This action followed Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's call to start a war to overthrow Hamas, the group that has long maintained control in Gaza. The current confrontation that Israel is going through differs markedly from previous conflicts, particularly since its incursion into Lebanon in 1982. In this war, Israel has aimed to attack Hamas leaders in their underground shelters and homes with fewer restrictions than in the past, reflecting its broader objectives. The bombings and attacks carried out highlight the challenge of balancing the destruction of Hamas with the minimization of civilian casualties in an urban environment mixed with residential areas and a complex network of underground tunnels. Israel has justified its air strategies by arguing that it urged Palestinian residents to evacuate northern Gaza for weeks to protect themselves. More than 1.4 million people left their homes, many moving south or seeking refuge in medical centers, schools, and international organizations hoping to escape the fighting. Israeli military spokesman Rear Admiral Daniel Hari recognizes the presence of civilians in the area and the possibility that they will be affected. However, he maintains that Hamas leader Ibrahim Biar is a legitimate military target. Israel has always prioritized the elimination of combatants, even if this means considering the well-being of the population. During the attacks, the Israel Defense Forces used a variety of weapons and resources. After Hamas's initial devastating attack on October 7th, Israel urgently requested large numbers of drones from suppliers in the United States. Both American drone officials and Israeli collaborators supported the military forces in Israel in this request. This increased demand for drones came from Israeli government and military officials, as well as civilian groups interested in compact, deployment-ready drones, which have become increasingly common in the civilian sphere. Following the announcement of the deal, thousands of commercial drones have arrived in Israel in recent weeks. According to reports from OS and others, some of these drones were manufactured in the United States and others in China, but marketed in the United States. Currently, these drones are used in rescue operations, intelligence gathering, and protection of local communities. Bobby Sakaki, a Salt Lake City-based drone consultant, notes that in times of conflict, the choice between American-made or Chinese-made drones is not just political, but an attempt to secure strategic superiority on the current battlefield. Once inexpensive tools for filmmakers or toys for enthusiasts, these drones have become essential items, regardless of the opponent's military capability or battlefield environment. Chinese-made drones are available for a few $1,000s and can capture real-time aerial images from heights ranging from hundreds to thousands of meters in the air. Experts say that drones made in the United States are usually 5 times more expensive than similar options from China, due to their greater complexity and because they are not intended for amateur use. Still, many of the world's largest armed forces are not fully prepared to confront the new realities posed by the conflict, including the widespread use of these devices. Hamas uses commercial drones to attack Israel, while this country lacks enough drones to defend itself. Ido Gur, an Israeli Air Force veteran and current managing director of the American drone company, Easy Aerial, received requests to buy drones just 12 hours after the Hamas attack. The needs in war evolve over time, and at this time, Israel is looking for everything possible that can be useful for its defense. Thank those who follow the situation for their continued support.